Hello everyone. Today is 28th February and what I'm looking at here on the screen is share price chart of Mahindra Logistics. As you see here, it's a slightly longer term share price chart. I changed it the line chart. As you see here, um, Mahindra Logistics share price was close to 800 at some point in 2021. Mid of 2021. Since then, it has corrected significantly, almost 50%. And it's kind of a hovering around the current 100, kind of a 100 rupees price band, maybe, 70, 75 rupees price band for some time, for almost a year. Now, the reason this stock interests me at this time is because of this reason, right? You see, share price is corrected significantly. And what I have below is really the quarterly revenue and progression of quarterly revenue. If you look at carefully, you will see that earlier the peak quarterly revenue was somewhere around 10 billion rupees. Now, currently, the quarterly revenue has gone up to almost 14 billion rupees. So, there is almost a 40% increase in quarterly revenue. But if you look at the stock price, it's almost 50% down. It's close to 60% of the original price, so significantly down. Now that would look like, well, it's not really matching, right? If revenue is growing up so much and why the share price is going down. Of course, there is a reason. The reason is when I add the next parameter, you're going to see the reason for this decline in the share price is really what we see here. Whereas the sales has grown, if you look at over this period, I'm just going to expand it a little bit. Over this period, if you look at the profit, earning per share has declined. It used to be 2.5 rupees at some point, and then slowly it has declined. It actually was negative in last quarter. So obviously, when company is not making profit, shareholders are not willing to give it that much of a value. Now, now that we understand that why share price is down, what is the reason that I'm actually finding it quite interesting? So there is obviously some rationale behind it. So what we'll do is now we'll look at a little more details of Mahindra Logistics in a site called Screener. We can get a lot more details here in this site. So the section that I want to get and try to understand is what's happening to the progression of revenue and progression of profitability. So as you see, this is a quarterly revenue. There is a consistent growth in quarterly revenue, whereas they are showing operating profit. Operating profit is really profit that you make from business operations, right? You buy, sell, and basic operation business perspective. And you'll see that from business perspective, the profit remained kind of stable. It didn't grow even though revenue is growing, but it's profitable. But then if we go back to the net profit, which is the final profit that company makes, which has been negative in the last few quarters. Now, what is the reason? If operating profit, it has decent operating profit, why it's really making loss? The reasons are here, right? You see that there is a depreciation, almost as much profit, operating profit it's making, and that much is going as a depreciation. And also there is an interest expenses, which has grown as well. So these are the two reasons why company is making a loss. Now, I think you're going to see the same pattern. I think we'll also look at the long-term annual revenue. You'll see that last 10 years annual revenue has become more than three times, probably over 3.5 times. And operating profit has actually increased significantly. It has probably increased 7 times. And now, if I look at the once again, you will see that depreciations has gone up significantly. That's really the reason for this loss. Now, question is, why does a company make um, why depreciation happens? Why does the depreciation amount comes in the balance sheet? Depreciation is about the assets that you have, and then what do? You buy some asset, and then every year you show that your value of that assets are reducing, and you really show that the reduction in value of an asset is a kind of a notional um, expense over the distributed over the year. Now, most of the time, what happens is initially when you make investment, your depreciations are going to be higher. As your investment becomes older, the value of the asset has reduced, but utility of the asset may not has gone down. At that time, your depreciations will slowly come down, and your assets are going to create a better value as a result, right? That's typically what happens. So now there are a few assumptions if you really want to invest in this company. The assumptions are going to be you have a faith in management and capability of Mahindra Logistics team, and they have a plan and they will really turn around the business and make it a profitable business over the future quarters. And if that happens, the fact that there is a revenue growth and if they're able to make it profitable, it's very likely that you'll find the current valuation to be undervalued, right? And then what are the other justifications? Why I'm kind of my thought process is it may be undervalued. So you'll also see that the what is the proof of investment? You look at the cash flow. You'll see that fixed asset purchased and the expenses for that is going up. And the 2022 was kind of pretty high. 23 was decent, and 24 numbers we're going to get later. So obviously, looking at the trend, it looks like 24 is probably likely to be even higher, right? That's why you're seeing the depreciations are high as well. So and they also did some investment in subsidies, subsidiary companies, right? And then investment in other group companies, right? So these are the reasons why overall net flow is positive, negative. Now, other important kind of a data point typically you look at before making an investment is really the shareholder pattern change. And promoter holding is fixed, not much of change there. But if you look at large investors like FIIs, they seems to have reduced the holding, which is not necessarily a positive sign, which is a negative sign. While you see some of the mutual funds, they seems to have increased the holding a little bit possibly, and then as a result, overall, I would say they are varying. But recently they started to last quarter they've increased a little bit. So overall, the investor pattern doesn't show a significantly positive sign, but um, really, if you are looking at investing on this company, the idea has to be based on the fact that you see an opportunity for turnaround in this company and they're growing their sales. Faith that well, the possibly they will be able to make this profitable in the future. Now, other comparison from valuation perspective, that also does it shows who are the other competitors. You'll see that most of the other competitors are profitable. And then if you look at their valuation, let's say VRL Logistics, what do we see? We see that this is a company with a market capitalization of 5,000 crore. And then if I come down, I'll see that their annual revenue is 2,800. So if I look at the valuation by sales, it's 2:1 close to. That means the company's value is close to two times the sale it makes. Um, and then, of course, this is a net profitable as well. They have an operating profit, and then they also make a net profit. They also have depreciation, they make a net profit as well. Okay, and then they have a OPM percentage which is fixed. Um, Now, if I look at Mahindra Logistics, maybe we'll look at another such company, let's say um, All Cargo Logistics. And here, if I come back again, the market capitalization is close to 8 crores. And if I look at um, annual sales, is about 13 crore. So in this case, the market capitalization is um, less than animal sales, right? What is the reason? Because this has profit probably as a smaller, right? It's a profit before tax is a little smaller and it has reduced as well. So similar situation as Mahindra Logistics, but Mahindra Logistics is a lot more extreme case than all cargo. Um, what does that mean? That means that you see that somebody like VRL Logistics, from compared to sales, their valuation is better, whereas all cargo is the compared to sales because the profitability is less, so their valuation is relatively poorer. But Mahindra is extreme, right? It's a lot lesser. So that's the overall dynamics. Now, we if we look at um, the can now Mahindra's share price can go up. It can go up only in case that Mahindra is able to turn around the business and they're able to make it profitable. And if you go with this assumption, then this may be an interesting company to look at. So that's really today's video is about. And of course, this is the Mahindra Logistics is not a has not been a profitable company in last couple of quarters. That means you want to look at it very seriously. And do you, based on your analysis, do you think that well, and this can possibly turn into profitable business, given that they're making investment in the business, and also the logistics is probably a sector that government is trying to put quite a bit of focus on, and does all these will have a positive impact on this company. Uh, so that's really the thought for the day when it comes to Mahindra Logistics. And thank you very much for listening.